Hello, I'm Gerald, the CEO of Steambow, and in today's video we want to show you how to assemble and operate our M10 repeating crossbow. A lot of you have already tried out our system because we boast modularity as one of our strongest USPs. And of course the M10 upper was available as a separate product, and a lot of you guys already played with it and trained with it. Of course, if we have a complete set, then we can optimize everything on it. So the complete M10 is one step further than that, depending on which lower you put on your upper. When you buy the M10, you get this nice box with a sleeve, and inside of the box you find our modules. This is a new concept that we have. Each of our products is sold in such a nice little box. And every of our modules can be bought separately. So if you want, for example, a different upper for your M10 in the future, you just buy a new upper and you have all the functionality on your crossbow. If you want a different limb, you can also just buy the limb module and integrate it into your M10. The M10 is supplied with a 75 pounds limb, which is, from our perspective, optimal for sports use, for fun, for outdoor shooting, but beware, even 75 pounds can be potentially deadly and is dangerous. But we will talk about safety at the end of the video. This is the lower. Let's start with unboxing it, unpacking it. And the package of the lower contains, very important. We use cable ties, very strong cable ties. If you use a knife, you can hurt yourself. Take pliers, then it's very easy and safe. You have a vertical foregrip. Perhaps so you can see it. So they're all mounted here on this card box. You have our new lower with the string dampeners and our new buttstock. Something that is special about our buttstock is the height-adjustable cheek rest. And we took that a step further than usually what's out on the market, because ours should be strong enough that you can use it for cocking the crossbow. And if you use, for example, 120 or 150 pounds, there's a lot of force exerted onto the cheek rest, and all of those other cheek rests on the market will then collapse. Ours is made in a way that it will withstand that. Unfortunately, that has the side effect that it's a little bit harder to adjust height-wise. But you only need to do that once. Once you have the perfect setting, that's done. First step is attaching the buffer tube to the lower. A lot of guys use excessive force to torque that. My philosophy is there are two ways. Either I want to be able to disassemble it very often because I want to transport it. Then it's good to put a little bit of grease onto the threads and put just Loctite onto the castle nut so that you can put it in a stable position. And the other case could be that you want it assembled, ready to use at home, for example. And then I would suggest use thread locker instead of over torquing it. That's usually the best choice. What I like to do is I just screw it in. This is one step where you have to be very careful. Put it in really in a straight line. Then I thread it in as far as possible. For this I put back the castle nut also as far as possible. And once I'm in the end position, in this case here, I turn back to my desired location, which should be that orientation, a little bit more. Then I put the castle nut to the lower, and then I torque it a little bit by hand. It just needs a little bit of torque. There is a tool inside of our box, but I do not suggest using it because there's a risk of scratching the buffer tube. But if in case you want to use it, there's a castle nut wrench inside of the box. Good. So we have that. We have the vertical foregrip. Screws and everything is inside of the compartment. There's a hidden compartment in the foregrip that's suitable for string aid, suitable for a spare string. You can be creative with that. Just slide it onto the rail. Put the nuts on one place and screw it down from the other side. You have to make sure that you have a groove where you want to push the screw through. Otherwise, of course, it does not work. So you have a plastic bag with a lot of accessories. Also important is there is a stringing aid inside of the package, which you don't need immediately because the limb is pre-strung and ready to use. But in case you want to put on the spare string, in case you have wear and tear on your string and you need to replace it, you need this string aid. So keep that somewhere safe. Also, you will find in our M10 package an additional magazine. It could be inside of the box, it could be inside of the outer box, depending where we pack the product. So if you don't find it immediately, please search a little bit around. It could be that it's somewhere else. So once we have the lower in place, then the next step is the upper module. That's the limb, that's the upper module. Also here we use strong cable ties. You will find inside of the upper module also an additional sight. That's a ghost ring sight. We suggest using that if you want to shoot for longer distances, for really indoors, very short range work. The supplied back and front post sight is optimal. There's also an additional magazine in the upper box, so the M10 is supplied within total 2 magazines. So the upper already has the screw here on the bottom. I just unscrew the nut. Very important are the washers. They are not there for fun. And also important is here on the lower, you will find a spacer that's inside of here. You have to take that out. Sometimes you need a tool for that. Anything that gives you some leverage on it. Perfect. So, perfect. So. Then you just take the upper. Be careful, there is not just a hole in the front, but you have some adjustability here in the front. So don't tighten it down immediately. Just put the screw through, wash on one side, wash on the other side, and then the nut. And you will find that there is a hexagonal opening on the castle nut wrench, so you can use that for fixating the nut, and then the supplied Allen key to screw down the upper on the front. So now that you have fixated the upper in the front but still loose, next step is to install the mounting block in the back. This one is hidden here inside of the crossbow. When you take out the takedown pin, this little block falls out. It's just a block with a screw, and you just take an Allen key and screw it down here in the back. So this one you can screw down permanently, but don't over torquing it. It's not necessary to put a lot of excessive force on that. Just finger tight, and if you are worried about loosening over time, just use some thread locker like Loctite. So once you have installed the block in the back, just push down the pin here. Because there's some wiggle room in the front, you can adjust it. And now, once it's fixated, you can finally screw it down in the front. Also here, don't over torque it. Just put a hand tight torque on the front. So that's basically it. You now have your buttstock, you have your lower, you have the upper, everything in place. Last step is now the limbs. Regarding the limbs, there is one thing. We want you to be safe in e-commerce, so you can order our products and try if you like the fit, if you like the ergonomics, if your body allows you a good side picture, and if you can do the cocking motion conveniently. I understand that some guys have handicaps and other stuff, so that they need to try out the product. But what we don't want is that you shoot around, have fun with the product, and then return it and say, I don't want it. So our new policy is that you get the limbs with a seal on it. Once the seal is broken, that's your limb. You can return everything else, but the limb has to be bought because we cannot resell a used limb. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. When you try it out, at least the limb goes on you. So I will now break the seal. Just use a sharp knife or a broadhead, sharp one like ours. So, and inside of this box, of course, you find a big warning, yeah, do not dry fire. It's very important. These are strong crossbows. You put a lot of muscle energy into the system, and all this energy is released in a split second. And if there is nothing to carry away this energy, the excessive energy will damage the end cap, the limb, the crossbow itself. So it's really bad if you just cock it and fire it without loading it. So inside of the limb module, you find old hardware that you need if you want, exactly, rubber plates and the Allen key that you need if you want to change the limb strength, because different link strengths we offer from 35 to 150 have different thickness, so you need different spaces. But the limb is always configured ready to use with the draw weight that's supplied, so don't worry. Just offers you flexibility for the future. And here you have it, completely ready to use limb. Be aware the brace height is also adjusted properly. In the future, if you want to install a spare string, you need to tighten it a little bit to wound it so that you get the correct brace height of 65 millimeters. So basically assembly is complete. All you want to do to get it ready to use is open up the upper, take the limb module, put it in the right orientation, push it down and put it down. It's important the limb pushes upwards, so if you want to put the pin in easily, you have to push down on the upper to counteract that force, and then the pin should go very easily. And it's also possible to adjust it, so you have to make it in a way that the pin is stable and does not fall out, but you will find it very easy to adjust it this way. Basically, that's all you have to do to get your M10 ready to use. Last step is, of course, loading up the magazines. You can load up our magazines with all kinds of arrows. We supply carbon fiber arrows for sporting use. We offer bodkin arrows for having fun and destroying stuff. We offer hunting arrows for serious applications, and all of them fit into the magazine. All you do is take the arrow, tip first, push down, take the next arrow, tip first, push down, take the next arrow, and so on until you have fully pushed in all 10 arrows. If you encounter some stiffness in the magazine, it usually helps just to push down a little bit so that the arrows order themselves. It's a double stack magazine, so there could be some binding up, but once you get a little bit of practice with it and get the hang of it, it's a very straightforward and easy process. So you just push them in until you have all of them inside. Yeah? I close it with the hunting arrow, and that's it. That's the loaded magazine. It has the same dimensions like an AR-15 or M4 magazine, so you can put it into mag pouches. And yeah, to get the crossbow ready, all you have to do is insert the magazine fully. When the magazine is set fully, it engages the arrow release. You hear an audible cluck, and the crossbow is ready to go. You have this button here. You depress it, then the crossbow is ready to be cocked. You just cock it like so until it clicks into the, I should have screwed that on, until it clicks into the lock, and then just by pulling on the trigger, you fire. You also have a manual safety on it. If you push that forward, you put the crossbow into safe mode, and if something hits the string, it cannot fire. If you put it into fire mode, be aware something that hits the string from below can cause the crossbow to fire. So we suggest that you cock the crossbow immediately before firing, and if you're not ready to shoot, then decock it. I would say that's the most important things about the M10. We will also release further videos on some details and special techniques for easy and quick cocking and shooting, so stay tuned. And other than that, I wish you safe handling and much fun with our products. Have a good day. Goodbye.